off like that. This is our new theme song. Oh, wow. I didn't know this was that kind of song. Those of you that don't know this song, we're playing. This is how I feel about some of these guys. This is some of y'all's theme song, by the way. Some of y'all's theme song here. Okay, that's all there is. That's enough of that. What's up, guys? Welcome to Ask an Arborist. The whole point on that was we've had some things happen in this group that I'm just not okay with at all, y'all. And the word there just spells it out right there. Y'all stop being jerks to one another. We have had several people message me personally saying I deleted my post because these people suck. So y'all quit being jerks to one another. I know tree guys, I know myself, and we're all a little rough around the edges, right? Every tree guy I've ever met is not, they don't hire the doctors and attorneys of the world to go be tree nuts. So that's understandable, y'all, but all this hazing and harassing, we're going to start having kind of a no tolerance policy with you guys because I'm so sick of seeing it. I'm so sick of hearing about, hey, I took my post down because there were so many jerks that came in and said like, hey, you're retarded or something like that. It's like, guys, stop it. This group is here so we can help each other, build each other up, because quite frankly, trees are awesome. There's a sticker I like. Let's see if I can find it. Bumper sticker. Trees are the answer. This is not true, by the way. Trees are not the answer, but they are an answer. That trees actually are very important to us as human beings. And everybody that posts these questions, we're not looking to be hazed and harassed. We're looking to get answers to our tree questions because those trees are important to us. And so y'all stop being jerks. We're going to start holding kind of I'm going to start paying a little bit more attention because things are starting to slow down as busy season slows down. I got a little more time to keep an eye on you guys. So I'm watching. Lucas is in my ear. He's watching. My wife is in there. She's watching. We got some other moderators that are all watching. And we're going to start banning and kicking you guys for being jerks. What's up, by the way? My name's Matt Latham. I am a board-certified master arborist and registered consulting arborist with the American Society of Consulting Arborists. It's so many words. I wish they would dumb that down to like 2 words each. Point in case is welcome to Ask an Arborist Live Q&A. We're happy you guys are here, mostly because you got some great tree questions and you need some answers to those tree questions so you can enjoy your trees more instead of having to deal with them. Nobody likes things that we have to deal with. You ever have a car that you had to deal with, or a kid you had to deal with, or maybe a bully that you had to deal with? Like, those things aren't fun. We want you to, yes, thank you, JK. Absolutely. People should just be nicer, y'all. This is why, I don't mean to get political here, but this is why, like, communism historically has never worked, because human nature says that people are not nice. But we have brains, and we can use those brains to go above our emotions and supersede those emotions. And so my mom used to tell me as a kid, she said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And she was right, y'all. So we're all here to learn. We're all here to grow like a friggin' tree. So y'all stop being jerks. Let's be cool about it. And we're going to just start banishing you to the pits of Facebook or whatever. Hold on. Yeah, I responded to him. Oh, hold on, Lucas. Hold on, Lucas. Hold on, I lost Lucas, y'all. All right, got him back. You're on speakerphone, Lucas. All right. Yes. Nito, I have not forgotten about you, dude. You've been on the back of my mind along with about a half a dozen other people that I am just, banished to the shadow realms of face webs. Y'all go play in those other stupid groups. This is a cool group. We're not going to do that here, y'all. So keep it up and bye, Felicia or whatever. Alicia. We're just like, I'm getting like real, I'm getting real, little, my wife calls it ticky boom, is tick 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 boom, you're gone. So we're gonna banish y'all. We've banished, banned and kicked from the group and removed posts. It seems like just it's like that's all we do now is we're just like we're going crazy on it. But we're gonna make this a fun group, and part of that is filtering out. What's that? To get to the dirt, you got to get through, or to get to the gold, you got to get through all the dirt. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to have this golden group of awesome people who want to learn about their trees, because that's the point. We all love our trees. Our trees are very important to us. Some of us even plant trees in memory of people. So they're a very, very important part of our lives, and one that most of us overlook because, quite frankly, we're all busy. We have lives and jobs and careers and stuff like that. If you have nothing, I love that. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Yeah, Southern Mama got it right. All right. So no worries. I'm just stumped. I've been asking the 3 other BCMAs with the city, and they just ignore me because they have better things to do since they've been working for the city for 20, 30 years. Yeah, tree guys are a bunch of elitist jerks, I've found. We can do cool stuff. I climbed trees for 18 and a half years. That makes me physically capable of doing things that most people can't do. And I'll tell you, pride is a hell of a drug. It gets to you. And I have noticed, maybe I'm wrong, maybe y'all have noticed something different. Most of my industry is a bunch of narcissistic jerks. So I try not to be that. And that's exactly why we started this group, is to create a safe place for y'all to come ask your good tree questions. So let's get right into it. Lucas, are we starting from the top today or what?
Yeah, we're starting to the top today, but did you already answer Nikito's email?
No, not yet. Nito, I talked to him about it, though. I'll get to you, Nito. I promise. It may be just like a day or two, but yeah, I promise I'll get to you, bro. You and Sprouting Arborist had a good question, too. I'm so sorry, you guys. I had 2 big cases that came across my desk that have taken like all of my time and attention. So it's not personal. It's just business. But I promise you, I really do want to get back to you and make sure that your questions get answered. So you guys have been awesome and loyal followers of this group. And man, we really appreciate y'all. So we'll get to it here, like I said, tonight or tomorrow sometime, and go from there. All right. So we're getting right into it. Anonymous participant. This is 16 minutes ago. So cool. Is asking, can someone please let me know what I need to do to get my cherry blossom tree to get more alive and filled out? Listening on here for the knowledge, trying to be the best arborist I can be. I love it. Love it. Keep it up. Yeah, one day you will grow far. It looked beautiful and full 15 plus years ago. Now it's looking like it's unaliving. Can it be saved? Well, you've got a big problem here, Anonymous, right at the base of your tree. Okay, so a couple things I noticed here. All right, so beautiful it looks like a weeping variety, maybe even. Oh, that might just be like really stressed. I don't know. First of all, stop topping it. That looks like maybe unalived tissue, so that may be fair game. First thing I noticed, the root flares are buried. Now, trees don't talk, so there's a really cool book called The Body Language of Trees. I don't have it with me, but it's well worth, I think it's like $20-30 on Amazon, or you can find it on eBay used. But It talks about the body language of trees. So here's what a normal tree looks like, Anonymous. The tree flares out at the bottom. That's that transitionary tissue from stem tissue and trunk tissue to root tissue. It's very important transitionary tissue, and it looks something like that. That's obviously a terrible drawing of it, but you get the point. Here's what yours look like. It looks like a little bit of a flare, tiny bit. And then this one actually flares out and then drops back in is what I'm looking at here. And you can see that here on the left side towards the driveway. Here's, oh, it even does the same on the right side too, actually, now that I'm looking at it closer. Okay, so Anonymous, here's what's actually going on is you've got something that is wrapped around there and is obstructing those root flares from developing like this. And so what I would imagine, what you're going to find if you dig down there is you're going to find roots that are literally coming across and cutting off the circulation to the rest of that tree. So that's the big issue there. I also see what looks like maybe colorized mulch. You even got a gravestone by it. So that's a sign of the times. Hey, it's a perfect little Halloween tree. If nothing else, it looks a little scary there. But yeah, so you've got clearly some root flare issues here. You got something obstructing it. That is very, very, very bad. Yeah, compaction between the driveway and the walking path. That's very true. But the tree actually will grow around that. It can work around these things. Not a big deal. Yeah, thanks, Lucas. That's a great find there. The body language of trees. Yeah, so as arborists, we can't ask the tree what it's doing and how it's doing. We have to look at the signs and symptoms. So that's one thing. Another thing that I see here, and I can't zoom anymore, but right at the bottom here is you've got some fungal pathogens that are eating that. Now, the reason I know it's fungus is you could see the streaking, that black streaking and brown streaking that you see there. That is classic mycelium webbing. Essentially, think of it like the roots of the fungus are growing in there and they're spreading out their roots. And so what you see is like these little lines that go there. So you've got some kind of fungal decay pathogen that's eating away at the living tissue. That is no good. I'll be honest, I don't know if you're going to be able to save this tree. But what I would do is certainly dig down there, remove whatever girdling roots are there doing some damage. And then let me show you I'll send you a video that you can use because that's going to be really important. That you use a chisel and a hammer to basically just cut away at that girdling root there. So let's see. My fingers aren't working today.
I dug up a root and cut a root wrapped around the base of the tree last week. Took forever with the hammer and chisel.
Woohoo!
My shoulders just shaking after. Hey,
it's a good workout, isn't it? Welcome to my world. We call every day shoulder day. JK. Yeah, it's I'm sorry. Yeah, chisel and hammer. It's not the quickest method. I'll be honest. If I could, I would use a chainsaw on every single thing that I ever do. Power tools are just so much better. It's also great therapy. Just plain and simple. Great workout. Yep. It really is. Yeah, Anonymous. I can see that. Y'all can't. But yeah, basically what you've got is a really, really bad girdling root situation. And now the fungus has come in. We call them secondary pests. They're always secondary. They take advantage of a stress tree, have come in and they've started to decay it. So unfortunately, Anonymous, I think you're going to have to potentially remove that tree, but not yet. I would leave it there and maybe plant something a little further out towards the front of the house or the front of the property, and see if you can get something started while that one slowly declines. But to slow that down, you can always do that root flare excavation. And while we're at it, while we're thinking about it, let me give you a video that I did recently about how to properly plant a tree. It actually wasn't recently, it was a while back, but y'all get the point. Somewhere in here. I know I did it. Yeah, every day shoulder day, JK. Okay, so like Yeah, imagine climbing a tree. Is you're not actually climbing a tree, you're climbing a rope. So every day is this action right there, all in the shoulders. Oh man, I've had so many back problems over the years too. Like, why not? Life's short, may as well, right? But it's a great workout. What doesn't unalive you makes you stronger, I hear. So that's what I hear anyways. I could be wrong. What about tree planting video? I know I did a tree planting. There we go. How to plant trees so it doesn't unalive. This is when I first realized that they are watching me, and every time I say the dirty D word, they're gonna dox me for it. So I have not had good results on videos that I say the dirty D or the dirty K word. So anyways, I hope that helps, Anonymous, and we are moving on. Unfortunately, yeah, I think it's probably too I'm sorry. I think it's probably too little too late, but it's worth doing a little something here and there to make sure that you get as much life out of as you can, and maybe plant something new that is not going to have as many problems later on. Just make sure you plant it right. It's very important. All right. So Elizabeth is asking, I have what I believe to be a weeping blue juniper in my backyard. In the past few years, I've noticed a fair bit of unalive back, especially from the top. That's a bad sign, In the spring, it sheds a lot of needles, but the bottom is showing a lot of new growth. Is there a way to save it? I'm in zone 5 climate where we have a minus 30 degrees Celsius. Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. Brutal. And plus 35 degrees Celsius heat spells in the summer. There doesn't seem to be any rot at the base, but the soil has a lot of clay. It gets very, very dry in the summers. I'm actually okay with it drying out a little bit. All right, so we said weeping blue juniper. Ooh, that's a pretty looking tree. That's cool. Yeah, very thin canopy. That's not ideal. And you can see the browning here. That could be some sort of a pest or pathogen attacking it. I'm not sure exactly what. Let's see if she provided any pictures of the base. Oh, my eye is burning right now. Put my contacts in for the first time in a few days, and oof. Yeah, I'm actually seeing really good color here. I'm just going to recommend some general good stuff for you. I can't tell exactly what it is that's going on, but what I can say is, generally speaking, you're going to have a much better tree, a much better time managing those pests and pathogens if you've got a healthy tree. And it's just like humans, is we all have immune systems, and as long as our immune systems are working really good, then our bodies are actually going to be able to suppress most of the pests and pathogens that attack us. Pests being like lice, maybe. Pests being fungus. And then pathogens, which could also be fungus, is you've got bacteria, you've got virus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anyways, there's that. That's going to be just a really good general health upgrade. It's basically going to provide like a compost type material. Humates are essentially composted compost, if that makes sense. So compost is organic matter broken down once. Humates are is compost broken down a second time. So you've got really, really high concentrated carbon levels and really high concentrated, basically beneficial microbe food. So this is another one that's just a general good fertilizer. I love these MicroLife products. The reason I like them is not because I'm trying to push a product. I am a distributor of these things, but I just recently did that. Before that, I spent years recommending this stuff without making a penny on it. And I really don't make any money on it now. I do it more just because it's the good stuff. It's the right stuff. So those will be, especially after shipping. I don't know where you're at, but way up north, I imagine. Let's see. No idea. So yeah, try that out. You've definitely got some sort of, I think it's some sort of insect that's chewing on it. Honestly, I don't think that's fungal in nature. I think those are going to be mites maybe, or some sort of a beetle that's chewing on it. I really don't see it as a major disorder, but I could be wrong. So I can't really diagnose it. The other thing is if you're here in the States too, this would be a really good resource for you, is reach out to your local agriculture extension. Now, if you're in Canada, I don't know exactly who you need to reach out to, but look up like, agriculture extension. And whether you're in British Columbia or, oh yeah, peat moss is great. Yeah. Or Quebec or wherever, is look up agriculture extension for that particular province. And hopefully you'll be able to find a quick little Google search, find out the right place to go. They all have their own little ministries of agriculture or whatever. I've worked with a couple different Canadian cases. So I don't know where you're at. Sounds like you're in a cold place like Canada or maybe Minnesota or something. But yeah, check with, if it's in the States, check out that website, reach out to those guys, see if they can have a good input on what type of pest or pathogen is. But always, as a good rule of thumb, as long as your tree is functioning on a high level, it's going to have the immune functions to take care of itself. So these things are very, very important. JK's got a great question. Thoughts on peat moss as a soil additive? I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love peat moss. Peat is, that's going to have really kind of a fluffy substance, and it's going to have a really good aeration rate. It's going to add some really good carbon sources to, let me see this. Well, this is one of my favorite products that these guys sell, is it's called peat compost. And I love that one. I'll use it a lot for vertical mulching and radial trenching, and then just general like soil amendments and such. Where you at? All the kids are getting home from school, y'all. What is this garbage? This is trash. Why do you do this to me, guys? Compost. This is silly. Here we go, compost peat. So when I want more microbes, I'm going to go with a mushroom compost. When I want more aeration in the soil, I'm going to go with a compost peat. Healthy soil is just topsoil combined with those things. So it's a good top dressing. I'll use that a lot for, where'd I go? Where'd I go, you guys? Where am I?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Can y'all hear me at least?
I can hear. Well,
you're on the phone, dog.
I can hear you on my phone. Usually when I put my go ahead and talk. Let's see.
Oh, and not lift strength, pull strength, JK. It's a lot of pull strength. So lifting yourself or pulling the log up or making sure it doesn't come crashing on the roof or whatever is mostly. Climbing is a lot of shoulder. Okay, good. I appreciate the feedback, JK. All right, so we're good. We're good. At least, hey, as long as y'all can see, y'all can hear me, I'm good with that. I just want to make sure that this screen is coming through. Y'all don't need to see my ugly mug. All right, so we're gonna move on. So Nate is asking, I have 3 trees coming to plant this weekend. 1 2.5-inch swamp white oak. I love those. 1 3.5-inch autumn blaze maple, and 1 2.5-inch crimson sunset maple. Any input where to plant the trees? Thank you for your help. You're welcome. Ooh, this is fun. Okay, so it looks like you've got easement and power lines here. So what I would do is maybe plant the 2 red maples on this side, because they're going to want to grow wider. The swamp chestnut oaks will grow have much more of a straight up and down profile. Let me go ahead and do this though, is I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Let's go to paint. I'm just going to give you exactly where I'd put them right now. I got this one song in my head, y'all.
I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole.
Not that one. Different song. Different song, Lucas. All right.
Yeah, you know it's the song that's your new favorite song.
That's my new jam, man. My internet is, I'm about to break my computer, throw it against the wall or something, yo. This is driving me nuts.
That was one of my favorite songs.
What is one of your favorite songs? Oh, I got to close this out too. Microsoft Word. I had no idea how much memory that was taking up on my computer, by the way.
A lot.
It's ridiculous. I've got these like 50 megabit files on my Microsoft Word documents for some of these litigation cases, and they like blow up my computer. It's absurd. Okay, so here's what I would do. Nathan, I think it was. Sorry, I forgot your name.
Oh, that's it. You're fired.
Is it Nathan? Yeah, I would plant the swamp chestnut oak, the chestnut oak right here. That's going to be really good for that because you're going to have plenty of room to grow. It's actually the driveway and the sidewalk. It will work around. Actually, you know what? Let's move it back just a hair towards the fence. But it'll grow kind of in a columnar fashion. And why is this? This is crazy, y'all. Camera's just not working at all. Give me 1 second. Let me play with the camera settings here. Anything? Hello.
I see that. Oh, I see an O on there.
You see me?
No, I don't see you. I see the O on the paper on the screen.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Like
so I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thinking, Nate. I think that's going to be your best place for your oak, and then let's check out the other one. Nate, yes, Nate. Sorry, dude. All right. Copy image. And we're going to go to this, and we're going to overlay that. Oopsies. For the maples, it's really personal preference more than anything. But what I would do is place one of them because you want a little bit of growth. You want a little bit of room for these guys to grow. So I would put one of them here. Discovery conversation. Okay, cool. I put like one of them right here in kind of the corner. And then, uh-oh, where'd it go? That's what I wanted anyways. All right, let's make this red too because it's a red maple. I put one of them right around here. Kind of in the center there. And then you're going to copy that. Yeah, whatever. Put your other one right around here-ish. That's going to give you plenty of room for these guys to grow. They're not going to have problems so much with the with like running into the house and the sidewalk and things like that. But I think that's going to be kind of your ideal places. Oh, you're awesome, man. I appreciate that. So this is awesome. So Michael, thank you so much, dude. Audio is loud and clear. He's telling me, y'all can't see that. Why am I holding the phone up? He says, send me your computer specs later. I'll help you upgrade it. I got sick of a slow one and built one, then already upgraded it. Got you, bro. I love it. Thanks, Michael. You're awesome, dude. I'll hit you up after this this show. And so goes life. That's how it goes. All right, let's move on down because we are spending way too much time on these guys and mostly just dealing with my computer problems. So that's so weird. It's just not showing up at all. Like, and it doesn't matter what microphone or what camera I use because I switched it to my built-in computer camera and it's not doing nothing. So I don't know what to do about all that. What's that, Lucas?
It could be the third-party app.
Yeah, it could totally be the Hello. Test check. Microphone check. How about now?
Hello. Test check. Okay. I hear you.
Well, now you hear me, but I heard that come through the speakerphone actually. Yeah, whoa, this is not good. You got to stop watering that trunk. Man, that's not good. Yeah, you got some serious fungal pathogens that are just eating your tree alive. Now, there's two different types. Thank you, JK. I appreciate the heads up.
Can't see any of those root flares.
Yeah, so you got root flares buried. You got too much water going on. You got a lot going on with this tree, Dan. This would be a really prime candidate for, let's get on a digital arborist consultation and see if we can figure this out together. But man, you got so many problems going on here, bro. This is not good. It definitely, I would say Phytophthora if I were a betting man, but I don't bet with these things. Neither should your personal doctor. So yeah, but that definitely looks like Phytophthora to me. You've got some burning and crisping on the edges like that, which is pretty unique to Phytophthora. You get the splotches, which are fungal in nature, it looks like. And then you've got all the unalive back. And yeah, I think you got some really big fungal problems going on. But that's one of those we're going to have to really knuckle down and figure out exactly what needs to happen and what's going on specifically. But what I would do is definitely, if it is fungal, is you want to treat it with this product. This is a biological control agent. And essentially, it's a bacteria base. So the bacteria eat the fungal pathogens. That's that. So yeah, hit me up. I'd love to help you out with that. Get on a digital arborist consultation, figure out exactly what's going on, see if we can send those off for lab confirmation on that. I'd be willing to bet money though that it's probably Phytophthora. We'll see. So hey, just so you'll know too, I started doing this thing where I'm setting up. Okay, so I've got some mentors, just like everybody should. And I've got this mold doctor that I follow that he's got a really cool group and a very supportive group. And he's got a section called guides where he's got a video library, basically. So this is my, y'all can't see it. Never mind. Oh, that stinks. Anyways, I'm holding it up to the camera. You see my guide?
Yeah, so the guides, they had pictures of you on the left-hand side when you had it on the main screen just a second ago.
Right. So basically what we're doing, I've got about 50 videos that I want to do. All of them are designed to help you guys out. Just be a really quick resource guide for just what to do with your trees and how to deal with them, these various things that you're coming across. So here's just a brief overview. This is like 4 of the videos out of the 50 that I'm going to make, not even 10%. So this is guide number 1 is on tree diseases. Guide number 2 is going to be on common planting and care issues like planted too deep, mulch volcanoes versus proper mulching, watering schedules, soil compaction and aeration. Then we got various videos on like structural risks. We're going to do that for show. Is like what do I need to know about my tree to make sure it's safe? Is how is it structurally sound? Because those two are kind of mutually exclusive. Strength and health, structural integrity and health are the two most important factors when it comes to actually a tree being a good specimen. So is it going to fall on my house? That's a problem. Is it not going to fall on my house, but the tree is unaliving actively? That's also a problem. When you have a strong tree and a healthy tree, you've got a great tree. We can work overtime on a strong and healthy tree to get it beautiful too. So aesthetics are important, but they're kind of a minor important thing because realistically, if your tree falls over, that's a problem. So if it falls in a forest, who cares? If it falls on your house or your family, everybody cares. So anyways, let's move on. Cynthia's asking, is it too late to overseed my lawn in Meadows of Dan? I just purchased a Kentucky Blue and Fescue mix, and someone told me it's too late to overseed. I don't know. I'm not a grass person, to be honest. I do know that Kentucky Blue, like Fescue, I don't know Kentucky Blue, but I know Fescue, if you're from Houston, will grow all through the winter. So yeah, that's probably fine here. I don't know where you're at, Cynthia. Where you at? Let's see. No idea. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a little more information. Also, that's not my forte. I'll just be honest. Now moving on. Anthony. Actually, it was funny because my wife and I went off the deep end. Just like that. Just like that. You big nerd. I like it. My wife and I, we went off the deep end and we moved to New Jersey back in 2017, 2018. And we stayed there for a couple of years, like around 19 or 20 months, somewhere in there. And then COVID hit and we fled that area because I don't know if y'all remember, New Jersey was ground zero. There was a nursing home, an old folks home, if you will, a retirement facility. I should be politically correct, I think, right? They had 30 unalived people there from COVID back in the day. This was right December 2020 or December 2019, January 2020 timeframe. And that particular nursing home was like 15 minutes in Andover away from our house. We were in like Sparta, New Jersey. They were like 15 minutes away from us. It was crazy. And we're like, what? So we fled and we took a contract in California, which wasn't much better. Now we're glad to be back in Texas. So Anthony's asking, why have I got white chestnuts? All the other trees are dropping and their nuts are brown, but this tree, they are all white and none of the tree are brown. None on the tree are brown. That looks like a genetic problem combined with the seeds just didn't quite develop. That looks like young, immature seeds. But also, I don't think you should have that many squeezed into that one tiny little spot. That could be a hormone deficiency causing that as well, which indicates kind of a bigger problem. So again, that's one of those we really got to figure out what's going on with it. A digital arborist consultation is going to be our best bet because I bet there are a lot of different factors that are causing that to do that.
Yeah, soil issues.
It could be soil issues. It could be herbicide damage. It could be general stress, microbial issues, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right. Yeah, I hope that helps. I think that's, I hate to say it, but that's going to be the best bet is we really got to kind of hash this one out together. I'm going to ask you some questions, figure out what exactly you've done health-wise. Everything else, like the leaves look healthy. I can't really tell any other issues. The stem looks healthy. You've just got those weird genetic anomalies, as someone said. Yeah, red beard. Yeah. That's exactly what I think is going on. I think it's cool too, Christopher, but if you can't get the nuts to produce and eat them, then what's the point? All right, we're moving on. Rick is asking, hoping someone can answer. We have a rotten stump that I would like to remove. There is a healthy tree beside it, and it appears quite a few of the roots are into the stump. Will the tree be fine if I end up cutting a root or two? No, leave that alone. And it's so cool because I was in one of my favorite clients' property the other day. I'm going to show you all this. This has not been produced into a photo.
Be an awesome place to put your GI Joes.
Yeah, you need some GI Joes all up in there. Or I'm going to show you. I've got a fairy garden at a client of mine. If y'all are in the Houston area, Geronimo Adventure Park is an unbelievably cool place. Luke, that's up by Lucas, so you got to go there one of these days, Lucas. But really cool zipline park.
Is it like that zipline place?
That's where we were. Yeah, that's where we were. I went there the other day to do a follow-up visit and check it out. This is where editing comes in. Check it out, y'all. That's a real treat, guys. Cool. That's it. Yeah, so that was just while I was out at the zipline park. I was taking a look at that. I found that little fairy garden that they have there, and man, it was just so stinking cool. I had to do a little video on it, but
you may be wanting to know to remove it just because it looks like just in the image it takes up a lot of room. Like, look at their backyard. They may not have much of the backyard if they're like up north where they don't.
Oh yeah, that's a small backyard. But they've got the neighbor. They share that tree. That's a shared use tree. Yeah. Long story short, Rick, I would leave it alone. Honestly, British Columbia. Okay, so you're up in the Canadians, don't you know? Yeah. Look straight at Miyazaki movie. That's funny. Yeah. No, that was really cool. And obviously, they put a little fairy garden to it, and like, why not? You know, make lemons out of lemonade or vice versa. So moving on. Yeah, keep it as there you go. Right there. Boom. This is getting a lot of attention too. That's beautiful. Don't bother. Yeah, I think by removing this stump, you would actually be causing detrimental structural damage to that tree. I think it would become a hazard. So I'd leave it alone best you can. Really cool tree though. All right, anonymous participant. Okay. First time posting something like this. I have 10-year-old oak, roughly 10 years old. Hello, this summer something. Why is that doing that, you guys? This is ridiculous. I have an English oak, roughly 10 years old. This summer something made a hole in the trunk lately, and lately I've seen little white worms slithering around inside the hole. They look like nematodes to me. This is a concern for our tree. Should I treat it with something? Any advice is appreciated. Sorry for the blurry pic. It's hard to get pictures of the little guys. Yeah, because they're freaking microscopic. Why are you trying, man?
So what, Don? Would Don work?
Yeah, Dawn's. I don't know. I've never tried Dawn for nematodes. What I do know, let me try to find it, is Monterey nematode control. It's a. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. Yeah, this one's a really, really good product. I've had really good success with root knot nematodes on Japanese ewes with this stuff. It's biologically based too, so it's clean. Not the cheapest stuff in the world, but really good product, and I've had good results. The only problem with nematode control is you've got to catch it at like a very specific time frame. If you do it at the wrong time, game over. It doesn't matter. It's not going to do anything, especially with things like the root knot nematodes. They hide inside of the roots and create those little knots. So those, you got a little access to them. So spray away, and then you pray. Hey, look, I made a rhyme.
Yeah, made rhymes too.
All right. And no, sorry, anonymous. My bad. Y'all didn't see that. Hello, need some advice. I planted this champ cypress pom-pom tree in July and it started to brown. I tried to trim some of the brown off, but it only got worse. I'm not sure if it's underwater, overwater, sun scorched, or some disease. Can the tree be revived? Would love some help. Well, I don't know where you're at, but that to me looks like classic water issues. It planted in July probably tells me you're either watering. I would imagine, depending on what you're doing, it's definitely going to be too much or too little water. You've got to get that corrected.
It looks muddy.
Yeah, it looks muddy. I don't know. That looks dry to me.
I don't know. When I'm looking at it, I think it's wet.
Okay.
It doesn't look dry.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Look at the surrounding soil. You've got dry soil here, wet soil here. So it looks like you're maybe watering. Do the screwdriver test. Yep.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things we'll have like a whole library for you guys. It's only going to take me probably 10 or 20 years, but I'll get it together and get it up there for you. But check out this screwdriver test there, pal. That, man, you've got a lot going on here. That screwdriver test will really help. The other thing too is you're going to want to do this because I imagine you probably planted it wrong. First of all, you planted it at the exact worst time you possibly could in July. And so the tree is going to be burned up. I don't care where you are. If you're a new tree, you don't want to be planted in July. Yeah. That's great, JK. Yeah, pulls at eyelids. Why plant in July? I'm doing that. I'm pulling at my eyelids. Yeah, don't plant it in July, y'all. Plant it in winter. Actually, I really like planting right about now. October, November is a great time to plant a tree because what you're doing is you're allowing the tree to get established all through the winter. Now, if you live in a subtropical or like a subarctic, like an Arctic kind of like the tundra, and you have a soil that freezes and you get that permafrost, then don't do that. That's not good. So you actually want to plant in early spring, but you're also going to have milder summers than you do here in Houston, Texas. Here in Houston, shoot, plant it in September because that's going to be pretty mild right now. It's only 90 degrees outside today, y'all. It's a nice, cool day. I love it. You know, and y'all are like, well, 90 degrees is not cool, guys. Yeah, well, it is here. Sometimes 125 or so ish with humidity. Rudolph is eating my Christmas trees. That's great. Oh, I love that. Way to go, Jeffrey. That's awesome. How do we protect our spruce trees from the deer in Iowa? Here's a fun thing. Just sprinkle some of this good stuff on it. Doesn't have to be the fancy $22, $97 stuff. Get the cheap stuff from Walmart or whatever and sprinkle that around there, and they're going to go after it, and then it's going to burn them. So they're going to no longer go after them. But it also adds some good like little micro and macronutrients that the tree can use, and some phenols and tannins and stuff like that. So here's how we protect our spruce trees from the deer in Iowa. Oh, you're not asking, Jeffrey. You're telling. Okay, so you're an expert. Let's see what Iowa tree hugger. Anyways, yeah, we don't have time for 16 minutes of video. But hey, thanks for the contribution though, man. I'll check those videos out and make sure it's not breaking all our rules and such. But go to affordable fertilizer for evergreen trees in the time of year. It's funny, Lucas and I both posted that around the same time. Microlife is my favorite. There's a lot of good brands out there. Miramichi Green is one that I was recently turned on to. Milorganite is like the original organic fertilizer. It actually comes from sewage sludge out of a plant in Milwaukee, hence the Milorganite. So it's basically like fecal matter extract, but really good stuff. So is every organic fertilizer that you'll ever get is basically fecal matter extract. Something fecaled, and they extracted it and made good fertilizer. I'm sorry, you guys. That's gross. Trees are gross. They're awesome. They're not gross, but
I just think fecal is a funny word.
Fecal is a funny word. Yeah. Whenever I'm talking about like sooty mold and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, basically what you're looking at is bug feces. Is they are taking care of their business and the mold is growing on that business. So, all right, go-to fertilizer for evergreen trees and time of year to use. We already talked about that, but I really like the Microlife Ocean Harvest. Humates Plus is a really great option any time of year. Here's the thing, guys. You can't see it. I wish I could show you my yard. Yeah, the combination is really great. But so I've got a little friendly competition going on with my neighbor here. He's got the current chemical fertilizer yard. It looks beautiful. It really does. I have no complaints. He does a great job. He monitors it constantly, and he waters 3 to 4 times a week. I have not quite as nice a yard, but the yard went in November. This guy's yard went in 2 years ago. Mine went in about a year ago, November last year. And I have done 2 main things. I have watered it a total, get this, you ready for this? 4 times in 12 months. I also put down 80 pounds of Humates Plus from Microlife, and I put down 2 rounds of Microlife 624. So I have almost as nice a yard as he does. I have watered hardly anything. I bet you money I could water it once a week or twice a week, and have just as nice looking a yard as he does. But I'm not going to do that because my yard costs a lot less money to maintain. So I'm not going to do that at all. I don't like paying the city their chlorine for their chlorine water. Like I don't need fluoride in my front yard. You know, God does a pretty good job of raining, so I just use that. So the main thing is what you want to do is you want to create a really healthy growing environment. Anonymous, you want to make sure that your tree gets plenty of oxygen down in the soil, plenty of biostimulant treatment, things like molasses, humic acid, fulvic acid, seaweed extract, things like that are all going to go a long ways to just creating a really healthy growing environment. The best bet, believe it or not, is just thyme and compost, mulch and compost. So take your mulch rings, spread them out to the edges of the canopy and beyond if you can, and just leave that as a managed landscape area, and you'll have a much easier time keeping those trees healthy and thriving. All right, so JK is asking fertilizer versus topsoil, both same time, different time. I actually wouldn't do topsoil. I'd just do a thin layer of compost if I were you, but it depends too if you're trying to fill in a gap or a hole or a divot or something. Those two are kind of like apples and oranges. So fertilizer, best time, same time. I like doing the compost spread, just like a real thin layer of compost on the top. Really just a 1/4 inch is all it takes. Right on top of the grass, just throw it down. You don't have to mix it in or anything. The rain will push all of that down into the soil over time. And just do that like in the springtime, February, March, April, sometime in there. And depends on where you're at too. Like if it's still cold in February, wait a month or two. But that'll basically it'll first of all, it'll insulate the soil and help the roots from burning up. Second of all, it'll just, like I said, just essentially recreate the forest floor. So topsoil, I'm not a huge fan of unless you just got to fill in a gap. Fertilizer, I'm not a huge fan of. Also, what I like to go by is less fertilizer and more biostimulant. Do things that are like, crunchy granola. Like keep it like real hippie-ish if you can, and just essentially recreate the forest. So like I said, Microlife is my favorite, but there's plenty of great organic products out there. Miramichi Green is one that I'm really liking. They are actually kind of a hybrid though. They've got a little bit of chemical nitrogen and mostly organic compost, essentially like compost tea almost, but concentrated. So, hey, great question though. All right, we're moving on. J. Morgan Allen. Hello, tree lovers. I'm concerned for this oak. I have and took a video. I would hate to cut her down, but worried she's past that point. No. Looking at this. Half. Oh, uh-oh. What's up, Lily? A lot of pruning wounds on that lower trunk tissue, y'all. Y'all see that? This is lion's tail. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. Look at that. Yeah, there's fungal pathogens. Yeah. Okay, so a couple things, J. Morgan Allen. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here because I've seen a lot, and we got limited time, y'all. So here's what I'm seeing. A couple things here, J. Morgan Allen. I like how you got 3 names. I've only got 2. Yeah, I have it certified. Okay, so Richard, by the way, is a fellow ASCA registered consulting arborist. He's top guy. I see him all the time on the ASCA forum. ASCA is American Society of Consulting Arborists, and the guys in there are all like, first of all, board certified master arborist gets you about halfway to registered consulting arborist. So the guys in there are like twice BCMA. These are some of the top guys in the world. And Richard, thanks so much for your comment here. I'll second that. Is the question is, if it falls in a forest, who cares? If it falls on your house, everybody cares. So I agree. I didn't see any targets there, something of value. It could reasonably hit even if it did fall. I did not see anything alarming on that brief look. Me neither. I'm curious about the mushroom. That's what my first notice was what is that? And are they associated with the tree pathogens? So what you're going to want to do, J. Morgan Allen, that's a great name. I just love that. I wish I had 3 names like that. That's a Southern thing, I think. Is send a sample of that mushroom off to your local agriculture extension. And it didn't show where you're from, but just find your state on there and, you know, send off a sample to them. By the way, when you collect it, take a plastic bag, cover the mushroom, break it off inside of the plastic bag that way, and then tie it and seal it as quickly as possible without disturbing it if you can avoid it. Just try to disturb it as little as possible because that's what you don't want. That mushroom is just the fruiting body of the mushroom. The rest of it is inside of the tree or in the ground or both. And so what you don't want to do is take that fruiting body and disperse all those spores everywhere else. You want to try to isolate it. Although realistically, it's doing the same right now every time the wind blows. So I'm not sure if it's associated with a tree pathogen or not either. I don't recognize that, but this is one of those. We got to do a tree risk assessment on it, figure out what's going on, and figure out how to suppress whatever mushroom that is. If it's a pathogen, if it's not, let sleeping dogs lie, and just leave it alone. So, you know, one thing that's always good though, and I got to give credit where credit's due. So I love the fact that you've got this whole area is left natural. You forested it. Obviously you keep it trimmed and all that. That's a good thing. But I saw the root flares are all exposed. You've got all this organic compost and mulch and debris that fell from the trees and is down on the forest floor now. So keep that up. Don't ever clean that up. It doesn't look like if it were to fall, it would strike the house. But make sure you're not out there during storms. Okay. Don't play under the tree while there's storms going on. First of all, you don't want to get lightning strikes. Second of all, don't be under a falling tree. That's not good. I only say that because I do litigation cases where people got under falling trees and they wound up unalived. So that's not good. And don't leave your family widows. Just stay away from the tree. Also, keep your kids out away from it if you can. But yeah, normal circumstances to me, it looks okay. You've got a tridominant stem here. So you've got a little bit of a weak structure in the tree. This is a weak branch union, and you can kind of see the branch bark ridge right there where it's even got a little bifurcation. This limb is pretty big compared to the parent limb. And like you said, you've got a little bit of decay. Where did I see it?
So I went and asked our little chat.
There it is.
Assistant that we're programming.
Yep.
The pathogen, the yellow cap near or the base of the tree, and it gave us 2 possible. It says Amarylli,
What's up, sprouting arborist?
Gynopelus.
Gynopelus. I don't know that one. I know armillaria. I don't think that's armillaria. The yellow, it could be a different variety that I'm just unaware of.
Said that you need to get a digital consultation.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is going to be your best bet. Is J. Morgan Allen, Mrs. Allen, Miss Allen, whatever your name is. I'm gonna say, like, you know, the best bet is we really do need to take a closer look at it. That we just got to make sure it's safe is the main thing. But I really see a pretty decent tree. I do see a lot of lion's tail pruning. I would keep the tree guys away from it for a while. But yeah, keep the tree guys away, get that soil, get that tissue sample sent off to your local agriculture extension, figure out exactly what specific pathogen is going on there. Or if it's not pathogenic, if it's just some sort of mushroom that decays only non-living tissue, who cares? Leave it alone. But yeah, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. You've got some history there. That's a big old tree.
Like if they wanted to just take a preemptive attack on it, would that liquid AF be a good?
Yeah, and Lucas got a pretty good point too. It wouldn't hurt to do some just general care with it. Now you've got a lot of good compost and mulch and such on the ground, so you don't need a whole lot of fertilizer. That's actually, like, you know, trees do best where? In a forest, right? And you've got a forest. One thing that you can do is just add a little bit of extra just to give it some extra resources. So these products that I'm giving you are great products. They're, like I said, they're all organic. The company name is Microlife. They make it right here out of Houston, Texas. And the guy that owns it, he's been doing this for like 30 years. He is one of the most knowledgeable guy when it comes to organics that I know. And he's just a really great dude. Mike Sarant. If you ever get to meet him at a trade show or something like that, he's a great guy. So, and he's all over the place. But yeah, really good products. All that's good. You can do some Milorganite if you get at like Home Depot and stuff like that. Find your local local farmers and get some cow manure compost out of them. You can go to Home Depot and get black cow compost manure compost rather. And but this Microlife Liquid AF is really, really cool stuff. Did I click the button again? No, I didn't. Okay. I thought I left it. So if you look here, it's not a fungicide in the classic chemical sense. What this is essentially bacterial based antifungal. So think of it like probiotics versus taking antibiotics. The antibiotics are going to unalive everything. Ooh. Oh no, Sprout, I'm so sorry, dude. But we'll get to that here in a second. I gotta finish what I was doing. I'm the worst at that. So trichoderma in particular is one particular type of bacterium that is really, really well documented and researched. And it's really well known. It's a heterotrophic bacteria. It eats fungus. And so what it does is essentially just creates a healthy growing environment for the tree. So that may be a good option for you. J. Allen Morgan. I hope I got that right. J. Morgan Allen. So anyways, I'm sorry. I keep saying your name. I really don't mean that offensively. It's got a nice flow to it. So it's fun to say, but anyways, I hope that helps, Mrs. Allen. And yeah, you've got a beautiful tree. I don't see any immediate cause for concern, but it would be good to get on a digital arborist consultation, like I said, and see if we can identify what's going on and send that lab sample off to get them to take a look at it. So anyways, I hope that helps. And we are, as soon as I click this button and then this button. No, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, this button. Moving on. What's up, Debbie? Debbie's asking, this is a tulip tree in my backyard. Is this tree worth saving? Oh, wait. Sorry, Debbie. Don't go yet. I got to talk to Sprout for a second here. What's up, Sprouting Arborist, man? Glad to have you back here, buddy. We got our pine tree. And by the way, I was telling at the beginning of this feed, this live stream, that I really apologize. You and Nito Bandito had reached out to me via email, and y'all were asking some specific questions. So, dude, I'm really sorry, man. I had a couple cases that came across my desk that just really have taken my sucked in attention. So anyways, we got our pine tree looked at by an arborist in the area. Of course, ISA certified. Good. That doesn't mean everything though. Said it has Zimmerman pine moth and said treatment may not work at this stage of its infestation. And I'm sorry to hear that. To me, it looks like it still has enough canopy, but I don't know much about the moth. And that's not one that I'm really familiar with, to be honest, Sprout. I don't know that one really well. Let me do a little research and I'll get back to you on that one, because that may be one of those. I know there's a ton of research out there on it, and I just need to go through and dig through that research to find out a little more specifics. And then I will get back to your email, hopefully this evening or maybe tomorrow at the latest, tomorrow afternoon, evening. So yeah, sorry, dude. It's been just a crazy week for me, but all right. Sorry. Back to you, Debbie. All right. We're talking tulip tree. Is this tree worth saving? I'm not sure what's going on with it. That is callus wound tissue. That's actually a good sign. This, Debbie, is nothing to be concerned about. That is something happened that unalived that tissue. It looks like a number of years ago, 2, 4, 6, somewhere in there, years ago. And this is the tree's response wound. Think of this as like scar tissue. That's basically the tree sealing that wound over, compartmentalizing it so that the rest of the tree can keep growing. So that is a very good sign. Yeah, you have nothing to worry about. There's a wound. It was small, but it's small. The tree is young and it's nearly compartmentalized. You need to keep an eye on it and see if that continues to seal off the wound as well. Yeah, I think you're going in the right direction. You got some great advice too. What's up, Donnie Griffin? Hold on. Oh no, I didn't mean to click that. Dang it. Sorry, I messed it all up, you guys. Donnie's a cool guy. He's an Austinite, Austinian here in South Texas. And he's a great guy. I used to know him. He used to compete climbing trees with me back in the day. And a really good arborist. He's a great guy too. Just heart of gold. Hold on. I'm going to say hi to my friends. Hi, friends. All right. We're moving on. Yeah, you got some good solid advice, Debbie. I just let sleeping dogs lie. The one, oh, wait. I say that. Hold on. You got to get that root flare excavated. Very, very critically important. Very important. You got to remove all that soil away from the trunk of the tree. Otherwise, that can be the end. This can be the beginning of the end, I should say. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I think you got a great looking tree. You just got to get all that mulch and debris off of the base of it there. Otherwise, you could be having problems later on there, Debbie. But yeah, otherwise, great looking tree. Nice linesols. Look at all that beautiful wood. I love tulip trees. Tulip tree refers to a tulip poplar. Atlanta, Georgia, circa 2010. I did some training in, I think it was River Forest or something like that. It was a little suburb north of there. There's a really cool group called treeclimbing.com. Peter Treeman Jenkins. Peter. I won't say much about his wife, but Peter's a great dude. And sorry, I'm sure she's going to see this video now. She and I don't get along, but Peter and I, great dude, solid guy. If you ever want to go learn how to climb trees, he actually has a whole course. You can go there. I think it's 3 or 4 days. You stay in their little hostel there, and he's got some setups for you. But yeah, they're a great group. Like I said, Atlanta, Georgia, Northeast. Okay, yeah, they're in the Northeast side of Atlanta. And we camped, stayed the night in a tulip poplar in his backyard, and really cool setup. But they do all kinds of recreational tree climbing. His goal is get people outdoors touching trees, and just a solid dude. So, oh, what are you saying? For a bit better news, I've been giving my trees molasses, and they're looking healthy. One of them is almost completely defoliated from some disease that dries up the petioles, but it has green buds. I love it. Man, it's unreal how, like, for whatever, like, molasses is like one of the best things I've ever found for trees. And it's ridiculous because it's like, it's just sugar, yo. But turns out that's what trees are made of. So you give them what they're made of, give them what they need, and they do okay.
Put sugar on their trees.
Yeah, no, actually, so that's like, there's a whole science behind using table sugar as a treatment, and you can just take it and sprinkle it on your front yard, and believe it or not, that often can be the right. You wouldn't think, because like when I think of sugar, I think of like diabetes, and how I don't want that, and so I'm going to limit my sugar intake. But trees are the exact opposite. They love sugar. So molasses has, I think I said, like 128 different types. Like the in an ideal molasses, like the best molasses on the planet, has up to 128 different sugars in it. Well, all of those sugars are going to do something. They're going to feed some microbes, some beneficial bacteria. They're going to provide a sugar source or a carbon source for the tree. By the way, sugar, if we look at it from a periodic table, is C6H12O6. That's glucose. C being carbon, H being hydrogen, O being oxygen. And so when you give the tree carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen, it turns out that's what makes up about 94 to 96% of a tree. Only 3% of the tree is nitrogen. That's the fourth most common element in a tree. But if I were to remove your tree, cut it down, dissect it, and figure out what it's made of, it would be mostly carbon, mostly oxygen, a little bit of hydrogen, a little bit of nitrogen, and then trace elements of the macro and micro elements like phosphorus, potassium, iron, manganese, molybdenum, magnesium. There's all these different elements. There's 28 of them total. And yeah, you don't need a lot of those guys. What you mostly need is carbon dioxide and water, and give it a little extra boost with some sugar. Molasses is the best source that I know of. Let's take a look at Daniel's video, because he's got some things going on with these little babies. What's up, Daniel? Thanks for your post here. Oh, I bet I know what's going on. You got a planting issue and a watering issue, mostly a drainage issue, actually, I should say. That water doesn't have anywhere to go, and it looks like the grass is creeping in, finding out that there's plenty of good, delicious water in there. So Daniel, I think what's going on is you've got poorly planted trees. You've got them too close, first of all. Look at that. Wait. Let's go back to that. Hold up. Oh, that's bananas, y'all. Look at that. Look at how much water is pooling in that area. Man, you got to stop watering. All right, so a couple things here, Daniel. This is one that you're definitely going to want to watch. I'm glad y'all can't see this because my eyes are like killing me right now. I got this fan pointed right at them. Combine that with a little bit of an allergic reaction, and I got what I call allergy eyes. I've seen this damage before. It's from the urine of a male dog. Not much what you can do immediately with the plant. Proper water and feeding. No, you don't. I don't think that's could be pee on by a dog, overwatering or underwatering. This is what I think is going on. Or if some trees were buried too much around the root flares and some weren't. Yes, I think you've got some trees are responding better than others to the planting environment and what's going on there. But here's the main thing is you've got buried root flares. All of them are buried too deep. You've got to amend that. Even if it takes pulling them all out of the ground and setting them back in at a higher level, you've got to get that water draining out of there. The radial trenching here is going to be your best friend for that, along with this stuff. Now, what I would do if you got to pull them up, may as well give them a little root dip and go and give them some of this stuff because this is Ocean Harvest. It is one of the best root stimulants that I know of other than actual root hormones. You can also go to Amazon and look up IBA and Dole 3 butyric. Oops. Butyric acid. By the way, butyric acid is where we get the word butter. And so this is the trunk injection version of it, but that's a little overkill. They make them in powder form too. Just go to Amazon. You can find plenty of different ones. Here's a big bag of it for $10. Really cheap. Looks like on Etsy. So it's somebody's dream business. So IBA is really wonderful stuff. And there's loads of research showing that it redevelops a lot of good healthy rooting in the trees. So very important that they root in there properly. But what I think you've got going on here, pal, you've got a planting issue. These were all planted wrong. I do love that you put the mulch there, but look at that. Look at that. Oh, where'd it go? No, not that. A row. Look at how much water is there. Y'all can even see the difference in the color on that mulch. That compost there is that's just getting way too much water, man. You got to let that drain. They're all buried too deep too. And so what you've got here is a classic example of just really bad planting. Let me give you a video too of one we did on how to plant a tree, because I think that'll help a lot too. We're going to call it here in just a minute, y'all. It's getting past my bedtime or past my dinner time anyways. I got to take these dang kids up to the park and go play. What's that, Lucas?
Nothing.
Are you making fun of me? How rude.
No, I was telling you, I was clenching for the last 10 minutes.
You were whating?
Clenching.
Clenching. I don't know what that means, and I don't want to know what that means. This is a family-friendly show, dude.
No, I'm telling you, I've had to go to the restroom for a while now.
I'm like this. What's that, turtle head?
Turtle, prairie dogging.
No, man, don't say that. That's weird. All right, Shannon's asking, please help. We live at about 9,000 feet in the mountains of Colorado. We have 4 beautiful blue spruce trees, all of which seem very healthy. In the last 2 weeks, as all the other trees are changing color, 2 of our spruce have gotten a lot of brown needles up in the middle and more so at the bottom than the top. This seems to happen every fall, and then they look nice and green spring and summer. Wondering if this is natural fall shedding or if we should be more concerned. 2 of them are doing it more than the others, and this seems like more than previous years. Thank you. We love these trees, and we want to make sure we are taking care of them. Yeah, so that's exactly what I was thinking is timing-wise, that's exactly when the pine, spruce, just any evergreen is what David's saying. And that's true, is the okay, yeah, that's a good point from Mr. Guy. And by the way, for those of y'all that don't know, Guy is like one of the best arborists out there. He taught me like 10, 15 years ago about trees, and it's so fun to see him here on this page. But he used to run an article in the ISA magazine called Detective Dendro, and dendro being like, you know, a tree term, and detective being like forensics, because that's what we do as consultants, is we get to the bottom of things, get to the root of the problem, y'all. See what I did there? And guy's a great guy. So what he would do is he'd create these hypothetical scenarios where Detective Dendro, think of them like what was the old detective shows back in the day? Not what's the guy? Not there was a lady version too. Oh, y'all, I just drawing a complete blank. I love that movie. Hugh Jackman, maybe, was it? No, is that right? Anyways, Sherlock Holmes. Why could I not think of that? That's ridiculous. So it's basically like Sherlock Holmes for trees, and you create all these hypothetical situations and scenarios where you really have to figure out, like, you have to use your deductive reasoning skills and your forensic skills to figure out exactly what's going on. And usually you'll learn a ton about it. So really glad to have you here, buddy. Yeah, I think this is normal, just leaf fall. You're seeing it on the middle of the branches and not on the exterior, so that's a good thing. Try shaking them off. You can always do a little bit of a mite test by taking a white sheet of paper. Oh, yeah, I don't have video. This stinks. You can take a white sheet of paper, shake the leaves over that white sheet of paper, and then just look down to see if you see any creepy crawlers. If you do, if they've got 8 legs, that's a spider mite, and you've probably got to do something about that. But I really don't see that. To me, I see this more of as a as basically just a fall leaf turning. That's totally normal. But I do agree with Guy. You've got kind of a not ideal scenario down at the base of the tree. Is okay, not a really happy rooting environment. Recommend organic mulch after scraping the weeds off so that it doesn't suffer from drought. Your arborist on site can look at possible diseases and also review pruning strategies to keep it clear of the house, and sidewalk is still proportionate. Still proportionate. That's why. Again, I must be getting tired, y'all. It's time for dinner. Some thinning in the upper part would allow more light into the lower part. Maybe less brown needles. You could get the dirt off the trunk if you want to, and send a picture of the roots growing off the trunk. Yes, please do that. Please do that, Shannon, if you can. But yeah, I don't see it as a big concern. What I do see is, yes, I agree with Guy. You've got some stressed scenario, a little bit of that unalive tissue in there, and not too bad overall. But yeah, the rocks are not great. Get those weeds out of there. Throw down a nice 1 or 2 inch layer of mulch. Okay, sprouting arborist, bro. I'm gonna email you a coupon code, and we're gonna get on a Zoom chat and a digital arborist consultation. We'll take a look at that, and I'll guide you through it. So, similar situation. My high school's birch tree has a buried root flare, has a lot of unalived wood on it, and the top is thinning. Feel like I should do something about it, but I don't think I have the experience. Well, that's my job, not yours, and your job to learn. So, yeah, do that, Sprout. Let's get on a digital arborist consultation. And you've been such a great part of this group. I'm just going to give it to you. So we'll get on there and go through it together and take a look at it and figure out what's going on. But yeah, hit me up there, and I'll email you when I finally get that to you. I'll email that to you, and let's get on a Zoom chat, and I'll do it pro bono and just help you out like that. You've been a great help to this channel. So yeah, Shannon, I think your tree's okay. I think you've got to follow guys recommendations there. The only thing I might add is this humic acid will help desalinate the soil. You've probably got, being up in the mountainous regions, you've probably got a pretty salty soil, and that could be harmful for the trees. So give that a shot too. But the main thing is, yeah, I don't think you've got any specific pathogen, pest, anything like that. I think you got a little bit of stress, but that's funny. Not really, dude. I can't do that, but not y'all. My other arborist. All right, one more, guys, and we're gonna call it for the night. So Anonymous is asking, 40-foot maple in our backyard, is it doomed? Well, it's not good. I can tell you that. Yeah, my goodness, that sod job. Yeah, sodding job. I think you've got buried root flares. They changed the grade and the terrain quite a bit, and that's going to be really problematic. Now, this tissue is not living, some of it. I don't know to what extent, I do have a video where you can actually test that and see sounding. Maybe is that it? Decay. That's what it is. That's the search term. How to detect dangerous #tree decay. So watch this video and see if you can use a little rubber mallet. You can use a wooden mallet if you've got one. Woodworkers sometimes have wooden mallets. But yeah, I think the way above the root system. Yeah, and then the other thing I see too is you've got a really bad branch union here. This was 2 trees that grew into one and fused together, and now there's nothing in the middle holding them. So you want to make sure to do a good, solid tree risk assessment on it as well, and see, make sure that's not going to be a threat to your house. The good news is I don't really see. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, there's a house behind there that could hit that, I think, just depending on the angle. So yeah, you've got a pretty hazardous tree. The landscapers, I think, messed that up. I think Guy's right. It looks like they added some sod. It looks like they changed the terrain. And then they probably put that nice tree swing in it so you could play in it, not knowing that the very thing that they tried to make fun and a nice recreational thing is the very thing they unalived when they did their work. So not a good thing, not ideal. But yeah, I'm happy to get on a digital arborist consultation with you. I know Guy doesn't like digital arborist consultations. I'm okay with that. You're still my friend, buddy. But I see you on there. You're on site arborist all the time. I see you, Guy. And I respectfully disagree. Also, we just had a town hall meeting. I was made privy to this. Thank you, Michael Gabriel's. And he informed me that they were actually, I missed the meeting. I'm so disappointed because this is like my jam, y'all, is doing these digital arborist consultations, being able to look at pictures, which is exactly what Guy is doing, by the way. He's looking at the pictures saying, hey, you got the grass cut up and laid down next to you. So you're doing exactly what I would have done. Hey, this is bad. Here's what we do to fix it. But I think he disagrees. I think he's, ask a baby. And yeah, they were basically talking about what about digital consulting? And guess what, you guys? Doctors have been doing it for decades. Telemedicine for humans is a real thing. Now, here's what I disagree with in that is every time I've done a digital Zoom chat or telemedicine chat with a doctor, it's not a doctor, it's a nurse or a nurse practitioner, registered nurse or nurse practitioner. Now, those guys have an education, but guess what? They're not doctors. Here's the great thing about when you work with my company is you get a tree doctor. We've set it up. I have this conviction. I don't think the guys that are prescribing the work should be doctors, while the guys doing the work should be the nurse practitioners or the janitor or the office staff, right? I think the guys doing the work should be, and the guys looking at it and prescribing the work should be bona fide professionals. So we've got a bunch of different services here. We can do digital arborist consultations. We actually have a really cool service that we just started opening up to more green industry professionals and other service professionals that frequently deal with trees or municipal constraints and requirements regarding their trees. And so, yeah, and that's, I'll get to that here in a second, Michael, but that's a really good point. So this is our arborist, our pro arborist support plan. Basically, you hire us for a few $100 a month, and we are your arborist moving forward. We help you with reporting and with dealing with municipal consultations and communications. We give you all sorts of access to different reporting templates and resources, as well as a client referral listing on our website. So that's whenever your people are looking for people, you could say, hey, yes, we actually have an arborist on staff. So that's what the real benefit of that is. And so it's just, yeah. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox here, but Michael's saying digital consulting is a force multiplier. Limitations must be stated, though. Nothing replaces sampling and lab testing, but sometimes remote info is enough to provide sound advice and action plans. And guess what? The president of ASCA, Mr. Ron Matrenga, actually agrees. And he said that let's let the industry and the people in the market decide. Because quite frankly, telemedicine for trees, that's all it is we do have limitations. I'm not there physically touching the tree that you have, that you own, and that you care for. But what I can say is, hey, you got some fungus there. Go to this website right here, find your state's extension, extension contact information, reach out to them and send them a sample. I can tell you how to send the sample, how to take the sample. We can do soil testing and things like that too. There's all sorts of different resources. What I've found is 95% of the time, 90 to 95% of the time, we get the answers you need. And sometimes that's not a favorable answer. You don't want that answer, but at least we're honest. So especially for HOAs, et cetera, who otherwise wouldn't be able to financially justify such sound advice. I love it, dude. And here's the thing is you're absolutely right. It's a force multiplier. Here's what I found is Houston, Texas. The joke is it takes an hour to get from Houston to Houston, right? So that's a lot of drive time. I live in Texas City. Houston is an hour away just about. That's a long ways away for me to go. If I go to Spring, it's an hour and a half. Now, fortunately, Michael's up there, so he can take care of those clients for me. But there's so much drive time. So does it make sense for your doctor to be driving for 3, 4, 5 hours out of the day? Or does it make more sense for those 3 or 4 or 5 hours to be put to good use? In humble opinion, I like spending time with my family. I like having that extra time for them and for getting stuff done. And it just really doesn't make sense to be spinning my wheels all day, every day, when I could be doing the exact same thing. And quite frankly, if we still need to take a closer look, then we absolutely can drive out there and take a look on site. So yeah. So Michael's saying his drive time $75 an hour. Hashtag me too, bro. Is like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially in a digital age. We've got so many unbelievable resources, just like what we're doing right now, you guys, where we get to come on here and talk to you guys and answer your tree questions. And I think it's funny. And I get it, guy. Like, he's old school. He likes to get out there and touch trees. And that's one of the things he says all the time is go touch trees. And you hear the guy saying, like, go touch grass or whatever. I think that's a beautiful thing. Like I said, we're going to the park here in just a minute, my family and I. And that's a great thing. People need to get outdoors more. Also, in a digital age, you can't find a guy like me in the middle of nowhere, Texas. Texas is 12 hours between one side of the other. Like, how many board certified master arborists in Texas? Well, it turns out there's, what was it, Michael? 38, I think you said. That's not good, you guys. 38. I'm 1 out of 38 in the state of Texas. I know he said it's less than 100 for sure, but 38, whatever. How many ASCA registered consulting arborists are there in Texas? Well, it turns out there's only about 12. So sorry, but there's a lot of people that want my services that don't have access to me or somebody like me. And so that's why we do what we do. That's why I started Arborist on Demand, is it just makes sense for everybody involved. We can do digital arborist consulting. I was on the line today, actually, with an attorney out of Savannah, Georgia, for a litigation case. Well, guess what? I don't have to be there. What I can do is analyze all the data that they've collected on site, and I can use that to create my case and to basically say what I think happened out there. And it was negligence, quite frankly. I won't go over names and details and all that. I can't. But man. Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry, Sprout. You're right. I got to go too, man. It's been real, you guys. And thanks again for being here, all of you, and for all the support y'all give. And y'all, I'm just really excited about this group. I think we're going places, and y'all continue. Just bring on the great questions. And of course, if you need a closer look, hit us up on the web at arboristondemand.com. We're happy to jump on a digital arborist consultation with you, figure out what's going on with your trees so you can love them and enjoy them instead of having to deal with them. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.